To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and God still promised you blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings. Keep on praying, keep on praising, keep on raising good men and women. Keep on serving, keep on preaching. God is speaking through you. To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and God still promised you blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings. To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and you're a good woman.
Welcome everyone to the Wednesday night Bible study. We pray that you all are all well. We thank God for you being with us tonight. Please share, please like, please give us some hearts. Please comment on tonight, because we're going to be talking about the women in ministry from another perspective on tonight, and how many hats we wear. I was thinking about this today. We wear so many different hats, and I can't even tell you how many hats I counted today that I wear, based on me being a wife, a mother, working, a sister, all the hats that I wear is so many. And if you take time to count your hats, you'll find out what I'm saying, how important it is for all of us to be able to do what we do and still keep our sanity. So it's very important that you keep a rap on how many hats you got, which is a hat, or a hat as well, a rap. So today we actually have some women of God that I work with and that works with me from KCC. So we're going to kind of come from the Ruth and Naomi story on today. So if you need to get to your Bibles so that we can make sure that you all are following along with us. So today I have Sister Stephanie Robinson, who is my armor bearer, and I love her dearly. And I also have Elder Dawn Spencer. She's my armor bearer, and I love her dearly. And then, of course, we have none other than Elder Carol Robertson. Tonight we're going to talk about women working with the First Lady, or serving the church in that capacity of working with the pastor, the female pastor, or the First Lady. And so I am so excited because, y'all, Stephanie said to me, I left my notes home because the Lord didn't want me to go that way. He wanted me to get caught off guard. So we're going to see what the Lord is going to bring to us tonight. But I would like for Dawn, you've been here the longest. Actually, how long have you been with the ministry? And then how long have you been working with me?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, thinking about the number, I cannot remember, but it's been a minute. Tyler was 2 or 3 when we started, and he's 17 now.
Right. So almost 15 years. And so you've been working with me probably at least 13 of those years, because I know Tim was Bishop's armor bearer like a year after y'all got here.
Was it a year or 2 years?
2 years. So it might be the 13 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And you actually didn't start being my armor bearer except for the fact that whenever we would go out and speak, if Sue wasn't already there,
Right,
you would automatically jump in and start working with me,
yeah,
just because your husband was. So that was already an indication of how you already love to serve God and serve the people of God. So that was like the bomb. So Stephanie, how long have you been at the church, and how long have you been working with me?
I want to say, I don't know if it's 2 years yet, or maybe 2 years, or going on 2 years.
Okay.
I want to say about 2 years. And how long I've been working with you, I want to say, I've been going to the church for 2 years. I became a member probably like 2 more months. Would have been 2 years. So I came to the church for about 2 months before I became a member.
Right.
And after me becoming a member, I ended up working with you a month after. So I'm going to say like a year and a half, roughly.
So, and Curly.
Yes.
I know. I have so many nicknames for Carl.
Yes,
So
I'm
just pray
Carly.
for me. So I'm gonna let you give you a little synopsis.
Of myself.
Yes.
Well, I was born in this church. No, I'm joking. I've been here for a long time since Senior, Bishop Dawson Senior was here. So we were started on Freeman Mill Road. So that was a long time ago. I think I was 11 years old maybe. And I dare not tell you how old I am now, but it's been a long time.
You are a cutie patootie.
Right, thank you. But
And your
anyway.
best friend is watching, Stephanie. So she sent a shout out to you. Okay. So I'm gonna go into one aspect of what I know I wanted to say. And one of the things I know I wanted to say is it's very important that we all keep in mind who we're following and who we make the decision to follow. So I said that to say this. With Shatwana was supposed to join us, but she had a situation at work, so she didn't make it tonight. But she'll be on the show with Women Raising Women. So I said that to say that I've been a single mother, so I've been in your shoes. I've been married, and I am married. And so I've been in a lot of different areas of ministry for myself and for others. So I said that to say that sometimes when people see you in different positions, they don't realize what it took for you to get there. If that makes sense. And they were like, well, why did she pick Stephanie? You know, and then they'll automatically think, well, she only got Dawn because Tim was doing it for the bishop. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, and then Carl is like family because she married her nephew. So that's the only reason Carl is in with the family. But needless to say, before Carl and Quentin ever became Carl and Quentin, Carl and Lisa was close to me before that. And so you never know why a person becomes close. So now Carl, in the near future, will be walking into a first lady's role. So of course she didn't know that back then, a female pastor role. So she had no idea that that was going to be part of her life. But it ends up that that's what God has for her. Same thing with Stephanie, I think. No, you didn't know what your lot was. You had certain prophecies in your life, and you had and you worked with a previous first lady, but you never really thought about or actually went into detail with people on what you thought your end journey would be, and where, you know. But you have been obedient to your calls that you've been in those two places. And so same thing with Dawn. Dawn is a preaching and a serving. So Dawn will usher, Dawn will do announcements, Dawn will exhort before service. You know, Dawn is a working armor bearer. She don't know how to sit down. So this leads me to my next question. I know last week we asked, how did you become, or how did you start working into your ministry? And when I first said to you, Dawn, I would like for you to just be, and I don't know if I ever said that. Like, you just took the role from being with Tim, and then you kept it.
To be honest, it was servitude for me, so it was more of whatever you needed. If Sue wasn't gonna be there, I would just fill in the spot. So it was just automatic for me. I kind of fell into the place.
Yeah. And it's not a bad place to fall into. I think one of the things that is an issue for some people don't realize or even ask me sometimes, why did you choose certain people to walk with you? And I think for a lot of people, they think that it's a glorified job.
Jesus.
And right, they think it's very important to be able to walk with me. So, and Carol can attest to this, when people see her doing praise and worship or speaking or whatever, they think that, you know, Carol does it so well that she makes it look easy and like there's no kind of fight before she gets there to do it. So people think that it's an easy job.
It's not.
So yeah, and so that's I want to ask this question to you both. How do you feel about working with me, and what would you change about working with me?
Honestly, I love working with you. I mean, there are days when I'm like, Jesus, I gotta go to church. But I mean, that's everybody's thought process. But in my mind, the fact that I'm serving God is my main focus. I serve you to the best of my ability in my natural, but I feel that when I'm doing this job, it's because I'm doing it to the glory of God. So I don't really see it as a how would I put it? Like it's, like a burden. Yeah, that's a perfect word. I don't see it as a burden. I see it as what God has chosen me to do for this day and time, right here, right now. Whatever He says, that's what I do for you. Changing anything? Honestly, our timing is everything. So when we do stuff, sometimes I'm like, no, we can't do it at the last minute. But sometimes that's what God does, and you just gotta roll with whatever He says. So that's it for me.
So what about you, Steph?
For me, it is an honor to work with you. It's always an honor to work with a person like you because you walking with Christ. So to be able to serve you, I really take pride at what I do because I know I learned of the type of woman of God that you are. So I do it to the best of my ability, and I take it serious of me serving you. I wouldn't really have anything. The question that you're saying, like, what would I change? I'm kind of confused on that change of serving you. Not really nothing because you're not needy at all. You're really not needy. You don't do too much. You don't ask for too much. You would like to do stuff on your own, really. You don't really want us to do that, but we step in and be like, no, we have this, So, because that's what we're here for. And it's just really an honor to serve you, especially a real woman of God that's walking with Christ. So I know it's not about, like I said, I've been serving you for a year and a half. Like you said, people probably saying, why Stephanie? I asked the same thing. So it's not that just them asking. I'm like, I knew why me, because Don and Sue came to me, but you continue to say, you're going to work with me. And I went into prayer. Then when you said that, I said, Lord, what she mean I'm going to work with her? Like, what I'm doing? Like, what she talking about? Then eventually Sue and Don met with me, and I said, that's what you was talking about, It's just an honor, and I appreciate it. And I just thank God for even choosing me to serve one of His shepherds. So, yeah, I'm going to choose you.
So, Curly.
Yes. Okay, so when you introduced each of us, I thought about how you said, she's married, she's single, and then for me, I know I'm married, but I feel like I am kind of walking. And if you're in the snow, you make these deep footprints in there, and I feel like I'm walking behind you in those footprints. And I thought about when I was in middle school. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. When I was in middle school, it was during the summer, and I was outside, and I was working out and doing whatever outside. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like I've always had this like an intimate relationship with God, but I didn't know what that was until now. And I remember saying one day that I wanted to be a first lady. I thought about that when you just said that. But what my mind of a first lady was really of people that I saw that I admired. It looked glamorous. Now I know that if I could, I would run. That's honest. Because people can be so brutal, and then they don't really understand your heart a lot of times. when you do things from your heart, is sometimes it can be misconstrued as something else. So I don't feel like I work for you. I feel like I am with you. I don't know how to say it in any other way. And that I feel like in my heart I want to protect you because there's so many things. You're not perfect. None of us are. But there are so many, they call it wiles of the devil or whatever they call it back in the day. But my heart, in my heart, I wish I could protect that for you. And so in so many ways, I don't like do what they do, you know what I mean, as far as like every Sunday or whatever the case may be. And I'm sure their roles are going to change now that we're in a whole nother situation.
Exactly.
But always uplifting you, and if I could change something, I would change people's perspective of, I guess you really can't change people's perspectives, but I don't know. I just think people can be brutal, and I think that's where you can get that wherever you go, you know, whatever you're doing. So if people could just really see the heart of people more and not so much a position and the glamour and the glitz of things, then that's what I would change.
See, that's what I wanted to, I didn't know if I should say that, but
Yeah.
I would like to be in that position, working with you. I see a lot, I hear a lot.
Yeah.
And just like what Carol said, people could be brutal. That is something I could change. I don't know if I should have really said it, but since Carol brought it there, like I said, you know, being here, I hear a lot, I see a lot, and you know, and sometimes as work, you know, as being your armor bearer, I have to be careful how I respond to people.
Yes.
You know, because I am here to make sure that you are good and things are going smooth for you. But also when you hear and see things, it shakes me a little bit, you know. But I have to, you know, just deal with it accordingly in a certain way because, like Carol said, you have some people in the church that, you know, you hear and see some things you like, wow, and then you be shocked at who you hear it and see it from.
Exactly. I agree with that. And so the reason wanted that question answered from you all is because when we look back at the story of Ruth, right? Naomi was married to Emily. That he died, and then the two sons were married to Moabite women, and then the two sons died. And Naomi gave them the choice of leaving and going back to either their homeland and or to find another husband, or they had the choice of following Naomi. And so my first question, or my first thing that I said was being careful or knowing who you're following. And I said that because of this. Because when Orpah made that decision to go back on her own, she had no idea what she was going to find or what was going to be out there, but she made that choice. But Ruth decided to follow Naomi, and she went into a destined place that Orpah never was able to receive because she left. Right. And so when you're following the right person, it ends up taking you to a destiny that sometimes you didn't even know was part of your destiny. And then when you choose to not continue to follow somebody who is leading you in your destiny, you don't know what you're going into next. Right. And so one of the things I found out about this story and I thought about was God led me. I know that me and Bishop Dawson are meant to be together. And God led me to be his wife. We had dreams. We shared all of our testimonies on how we became a part of each other. And so I ended up having Mother Dawson as a spiritual mother. And one of the things Mother Dawson would always say to me is, I got the chief and you got one of the Indians. Which means since she had the head, she knew how to tell me how to deal with one of the Indians. Mm-hmm. And so I actually took her advice in a lot of things because I was trying to make sure that I handled the Indian properly or else the Indian was going to be dead.
Right.
And so, so one of the things that I want to stress is your destiny in your life and who you're working with is always important to the next stage in your life. So you never know who you're going to be working with or who you're going to be around. I always knew that there's a great call of ministry from the first day that you started coming here. Dawn went through the process of ministry.
Right.
I was able to, I had a greater relationship. Okay, so I had a greater relationship with God, so now I'm able to see quicker the call that's on people's lives versus when Dawn came. Because half the time I didn't want to see nobody by the time Dawn came because, you know, I was still fussing with the bishop. So, you know, when you're in a certain place and you don't know, okay, this is what's going to come out next, or you don't know whether you're going to still be there or you're going to be gone, and you don't care what happened at the church because you're going to leave them anyway. So, you know, so you go through all these different things and you don't think about the fact that you have somebody's destiny in mind or in view. So, by the time you got here, I was already well-versed in who I had become at this point and who I was going to continue to be. So it was quicker for me to find out who you were than it was for me to help Dawn because I was more in a grooming situation for myself than I was in the pastorate role and being able to actually give insight and direction to people. So the thing I would say about Carol is it was in her DNA. So not necessarily to be a pastor's wife, more so than it was to be in ministry, definitely, because, you know, your mom was a well-known evangelist, and you just happened to have that mantle on your life. And so because God put that mantle on your life, we knew that something was going to be different with what you did in your life. And so I knew that from the time I met you, even though you were going to college and trying to do different things, and you still got all your degrees. I'm just saying the fact that ministry still, I remember Bishop prophesying to you one day at, and you probably hated it, but I can't remember whether it was at T Street, Clifton Road, or McConnell Road, but the word was, you were singing, and once you finished singing, he told you to turn around and look back. And he was saying, I know you're singing now, but all these people behind you that you can't see are waiting for you to transition into ministry and not just singing. And so it was like, oh my God, you know, a lot of us look at Bishop and be like, how do you see that? You know, but now that you transition, what do you feel about what he saw way back then?
Okay, so it's bittersweet. Well, not bittersweet, it's twofold. A part of me, I believe the inner part of purpose, the purpose in me wants to do it. The flesh in me looks at, and I'm just being honest. The flesh says, I don't want to deal with those people. I don't want the ridicule. I don't want my family in front of others. I don't want, but then I think about the goodness of God and how I can help others, and I know that the things I've been through, I can help others. I think about that, and then when I, get ready to speak, I'm like, gosh, why did I have to speak? It's just it's like a tug of war, but it's more good than bad. And I thought about what you were saying about Naomi and Ruth, and I was sitting here trying to battle, well, who was the blessing? Was Ruth the blessing or Naomi the blessing? Because Naomi actually had to accept the help.
Right.
Because she commanded. She was like, no, y'all, both of y'all leave, Right. And Ruth insisted. And I love that Ruth insisted because it was something in her, the purpose in her knew that something down the line there had to be. I don't think she was looking for a blessing. I just think that she wanted the help. She wanted to help Naomi. But the number one thing was Naomi had to receive her help in order for us to even be here. Imagine her obedience, her insistence, and her ability to serve and willing to serve. She did the lowest job there was. She was not afraid to work. She was not afraid to serve. She was not afraid to do the dirtiest thing. And in that, she was a blessing to even generations upon generations. Her child had Jesse, and Jesse had David. I mean, come on, right?
The Savior of the world.
That thing that made Ruth insist was inside of her is inside of all of us.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? That thing that says, I can't quit, or I can't stop, or I gotta go, or you not stopping me. Women are so strong. I believe it's that part of Ruth that's in us. You know what I'm saying? That was like, no, I'm not gonna listen to what you're saying. I know you need help, and I'm coming. And then it's that Naomi in us that some of us have a hard time addressing is receiving the help. And I know I kind of digress from your thing, but it blessed me to know that there's a blessing in accepting help and giving it and accepting. You know, because you don't know what blessing and you're blocking. And so both of y'all roles are so important. And who's to say generations upon your obedience, what that is doing for generations to come, even in your family.
And one of the points you just made is one of the greatest points, I think. And because one of the things that Naomi said to Ruth is, listen, why are you going to come with me? Because I can't have no more kids. And then you can't wait till he get old for you to marry him if I do have some more kids. But she didn't realize that she was going to end up, Boaz is going to be there, which is family. So she still got a husband by following the person that she was trying to serve. So just like you're saying, because you don't know who was the blessing, because the blessing was for both of them.
The blessing was in the obedience.
Yes, of both. Because she said, I'm going to serve your God and I'm going to serve your people.
Whatever you serve, I'm going to serve. Whatever you live, I'm going to live. And I feel like that's how, when you work for a person in the church, I think that's how you should be. You should have that amount of commitment, love, dedication, loyalty. I mean, Ruth was, you could just go on and on and on. She was like, and then Naomi was so loving, and she was like, well, you're a foreigner, you know, so, you know, they're going to treat you bad. And it was like the faith that she had. She was like, she said, don't you serve a mighty God?
Exactly.
Don't you serve? Wait a minute, you telling me all the things bad that can happen, but you told me you serve a good God that loves will love the widowers and whoever else, the foreigners or whatever. But the thing is, do you know the God you serve? No matter what the situation looks like, no matter if you're a foreigner, no matter if if you're dark, you're light, you're tall, you're skinny, you still the blessing. No matter what you look like, no matter where you're from, you still the blessing. Because she was the blessing.
Yes. And I think both of them had to realize that they were a blessing for each other.
Yes.
And that leads me to my next question. Why do you think we as women don't stick together or don't try to see the greatness in each other?
Oh, wow. For me, it's all about self. Because a lot of times we're so busy trying to put on this facade of who we think people want us to be and who we think we should be, in according to how we grew up, where we grew up, the people we're around, the people that are outside of that circle, the inner circle, the outer courts. You know, we just try to be everything that God has not called us to be in that aspect. We forget that, okay, it's not about what they say, it's not about what they do, it's about what God is calling us to do, what we're supposed to be doing. Because we have a bigger picture. The bigger picture is what God wants us to do. And we forget sometimes that it's not about us. We are supposed to love, we're supposed to serve. And that's really how God created us. And for me, when it comes to other people, I just want everybody to be blessed. That's just my thought process.
Right.
I'm not trying to take away from you, take away from you, take away from you. I want us all to be blessed. I want us all to push forward. I want us all to see the greater good of what God has for us. And I feel like as women, that's that thing that the enemy tries to put in place so that we don't see the good that we all can do for each other. Right. We see, oh, well, she thinks she's better than me. And, you know, we see that stuff instead of, oh, girl, that dress, that I like that necklace. That's cute on you. You know, we don't do that. We say, she trying to think she cute. That's the thought process that the devil tries to put in our mindset. And it's not true. It's not true. But we don't stop and think first.
One of Bishop's favorite things.
We don't stop and think first.
Take a minute.
Yes. I mean, and a lot of times we just go off the cuff. We don't, we speak, we see, we think here, and it just comes out. And that's not good. Because you hurt people's feelings, you ridicule people, you put people in a place of shame, you put people in a place of wanting to be in the background all the time. And that's not what God called us for.
Self-esteem issues. So what do you think, Steph?
Don said a lot, but I'm going to go the other route. Us as women, you have a lot of messy women. Okay, it's a lot of messiness with them that other women don't even want to deal with women. So they don't have friends, they don't have a sister. If those that don't have a sister, like for me, I didn't deal with too many women because when you go deal with a woman, it's always something like Dawn said, oh, she thinks she's prettier than me, or if you have something, they think you think, yo, you're better than me. Like, and your personality is not like that, or they going off what other people say about you. And you know, me personally, I've been through this. You know, people thought that, oh, because the way I dress or the way I carry myself, I think I'm better than, but anyone that know me, know I would give. I gave my last to plenty of people, but you had to get to know who I am. You can't look at my face or see the way I dress and feel like, oh, you just think you better than. So they become messy, then they become jealous of you, then jealousy turns to envy, and once it gets to envy, just forget about it. They out to get you, you know? And I was just talking about that today, that, you know, us as females, we don't build each other up as much. You know, we don't give compliments as much as we should. You know, we just side-eyeing like, oh, she thinks she this. So that's my main thing. As me becoming a woman of God, you know, because I've never dealt with messy women, but I have learned as a woman of God and me knowing the power of prayer now. When the messiness tried to come with me because me just trying to be judged because of my appearance, I go into prayer and ask God to let them see who I am. You know, because I've been through some stuff like at work and things like that, and it's like now me just staying and praying and prophecy happening, letting me know how to go about things and continue to say that I am saved instead of reverting to like other things. So, you know, I had experienced that woman. So when you asked that question, I really sat at work and I really thought about it. Like, you know, this is a serious question because I lived this and it was just a lot of messy women that I had to deal with. But thank God that I'm able to pray now. When I see it coming, I could pray. I could pray about it. And I can deal with females now. Even though I know they don't like me, even though I know they're jealous, I can still stand in their face because I pray about it. So I know I changed because I'm able to stand in front of you, and I know you don't even like me. But just because who I am today, I can deal with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Listen, who said it? Lauren Hill, how you gonna win when you ain't right within?
That's what she said.
The problem is within.
Yes. Mentally.
When you try to dim others' lights, it's because you don't even know how bright your light is shining. I think so many people don't really know the goodness of themselves. You see the goodness on someone else and you say, oh, she thinks, no, you think that she's all that. You know, but the thing is, I think the problem with women working together and not really lifting each other is because it has to be that you don't recognize the goodness within yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So much so that you would rather dim someone else's light.
Right.
And I think when you realize even your opportunities, when you know your opportunities, a lot of people want to hide their opportunities, their weak areas.
Right.
But don't you understand that someone can help you with that? If once you recognize it and don't hide it, that right there is the first part of building yourself. Right? And when you recognize the goodness within yourself, you don't have to be jealous of that girl's good thing.
Right.
Because you are proud of your own, you have self-love and self-appreciation for yourself.
Right.
But I think a lot of people try to dim other people's light, and I think the saddest thing is when they try to bring others in That's horrible.
Yeah.
The problem is you.
Yeah.
If you do that,
Yes.
you do that
Yes.
for real, because you shouldn't do that. You should really, and I see it all the time, and it's not just with women, it's with men too, but I think the main part, and I'm not going to hold y'all, but I really think that it's the inside, your heart, your own issue, your lack of ability to see your greatness. And then when you see it in somebody else, you don't know how to appreciate it. And Jamira said something good right here. She said, some women aren't taught,
Read it, Carol.
let me get my help. Let me get some help over here. It says some women aren't taught how to help build up other women, so they think every woman is out to get what they got. Lord have mercy.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, Lord, it's so true.
Well, and most times, even sometimes, I agree with that, but when you're taught, depending on who you are around, some people are not strong enough to say or depend on what they've been taught.
Right.
Sometimes they fall into the shortcoming of becoming who they are surrounded with.
Yeah.
And so if you don't keep yourself surrounded with positive and strong women, then you stoop down to the weak, gossipy busybody that you're with.
Right.
So I asked that question because a lot of times people think that, like I said before, that you're in this position for a certain gain or a certain position that I chose you because, you know, like you, Stephanie, they think I chose you because you're a thug. You know, but what you just said was, I don't have to resort to being the thug that I was because now I'm a thug in prayer. And so people don't get that part now. They just think because you talk with your accent from up north that you just this hard person.
Yeah.
And they don't realize that, and see, people thought I was mean, well, and they still think I'm mean. But it's not that I'm mean, but people don't like discipline and people don't like truth. And so when you get to know me, you find out that I really have a good heart and that I really have your best interest in heart, but other people are not going to tell you the truth.
Right.
So I'm the one who's been chosen to do that, and you don't want to accept the truth or accept the help, just like you just said. We all need help. I mean, today, I was in my office trying to put something together, and I came out here to the guys, and I was like, okay, so today I'm not smart. So I need one of y'all smart people to come in my office, you know, and because today I couldn't figure it out, really, because my mind was on this and not putting that thing together. So I had to get help to come put it together because my mind wasn't there. It didn't mean that I'm short bus all the time, but I was short bus for that moment because I had my attention span on somewhere else.
Right.
So, make one more statement with that. Another thing is mental. Me personally, I have issues with believing that I am great.
Okay.
Just to be honest with everybody. And so when it comes to believing the greatness that's in me that other people see, I'll be like, oh, okay, great. And that's why I say I'm always about everybody else, because that's what I do.
Right.
I take the spotlight off of myself and put it on other people because I don't want to be seen. And that goes back to the mental part of it. So a lot of people need to realize that you may have a mental issue in the regards of how you think about yourself. Just get help, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to grow out of that.
That's true. That's true. And I do have to say this about you, Dawn. You celebrate everybody. I mean, I don't care what somebody, they just got a new toenail color on their foot. You know, you are on their side. You are that person that is, oh man, that is so great. And it's like, and I be thinking like, huh? And you just go there off of that one thing. It don't have to be a big thing, but you are that celebratory person. You do give everybody their kudos. And that's one thing I do like about you. And one of the things I said I was gonna bring up tonight, and I said, Dawn gonna be mad with me, but we ain't got enough time on the show. But I'm gonna say this. I probably made Dawn like extremely mad, but she'll never tell me. And so one time, Tim complained about Dawn selling Mary Kay. And so in the very beginning, she was starting to go to the meetings all the time and stuff. And so I was trying to tell Dawn, like on the sneak tip, without saying Tim is getting tired of you being out. I was trying to tell her on the sneak tip, you know, that ain't no God right now for your life. Don't do Mary Kay. Don't do Mary Kay. And I said, Dawn is gonna hate me. Well, this is the thing. The more I was saying that to her, like week after week that I see her, she would be getting Bishop to buy more stuff for me from Mary Kay. And so it was so funny to me that she, I had this big basket from Mary Kay, from Dawn Bishop about Mary Kay. I was like, I said, Bishop, I said, I don't really wear makeup. So, most of the time Dawn knew what I wore from Mary Kay, just the lip gloss and stuff. And so I said, I'm sure I'm making Dawn like extremely mad trying to tell her don't do a business because she's very successful at it now. But at the time, it was bothering Tim, and I was trying to help my son out to get his wife back home. And I wasn't trying to shut her business down. I was just saying this was not the right time to do it because you need to take care of home. And so sometimes when you're trying to help somebody, they don't realize that you're trying to help them in that way without giving away what the situation is. Right. You're really trying to help the person, but you got to go about the sneak tip way to make sure they get it. So, so my last question for tonight, because I know we got any more comments, Carl?
Beverly was saying that's true first. So
okay.
I guess she was agreeing with what you're saying. And then Jamara said, now that's true too. Didn't think about that part being surrounded by the right ones. So yeah, just making sure you're around the right people.
Yeah. And it is something about being around the right person. And I definitely believe in the fact that you are or you become who you surround yourself with. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Bishop always say, and I think you got it from Bishop Jakes, I think, that if you are the largest fish in your pond, you need to change ponds. Right. Because that means nobody else that's in that pond that's smaller than you can do anything for you. They can't give you no nutrition. They can't give you no help. They can't, what is it going to take? Everybody in the pond to push you out. Right. So you see what I'm saying? So
and that's recognizing your opportunities right there.
Exactly.
Recognizing your weak spots.
But the weak spot in that is some people like being the big fish in the pond.
Yes, that's true. Yep.
Some people don't want to get out of the pond because they like being catered to. And one of the things I thank you for saying, because a lot of people don't say this, is people think I need an armor bearer. No. And I don't need an armor bearer because I don't get them to help me. This is one of the things that I require when people work with me. And this is something that I've said to many first ladies. You need to have somebody around you that if you pee on yourself in your office, that they are not going to go out into the sanctuary and say, girl, first lady just peed on herself. Right. But instead, they're going to get in their car, lock me in the office, go down to Dollar General, buy me some underwear, come back, let me change, and come back in the sanctuary and nobody knows anything about it.
That's right.
And that's the kind of coverage that a person needs, and that's the way we should be covering each other. Right. But we don't do it. We so quick to come out the sanctuary and say, girl, let me tell you what just happened back there. You know what I'm saying? And so it's a situation of knowing who will cover you and who's going to go tell your business.
Right.
And so that's something I think every first lady should be able to discern from that person that you have working with you. Because when stuff that you say or do or have expressed in your office starts to trickle out into the sanctuary, then you know somebody needs to get put out.
That's right.
That's right. Lady Nicole Bradshaw was like, that is so true. That's a great point.
I love you, Nikki. But yeah, so I just want to, my last question is, now that you're in this place in your life, what are you going to change from this point to your future? And what I mean by that is, what are you going to change in your life? What are you going to change physically? What are you going to change mentally? What are you going to change in ministry? What are you going to change now that you're in this spot and you have been outed by the world? Now the world knows you are married, even if they never come to the church. What are you going to change in your life? What do you want your future to be? Because Ruth didn't know what her future was going to be, nor did Naomi. But once they got to the place, they had a whole new future that they didn't even know about. And they got to move into the big house.
Right.
And so we need to be able to find people that we know are going to get taken to the big house with us. Or people that we know that we don't mind taking to the big house with us.
Right.
So what are you going to do now that you're in this spot? Where are you going from here?
Well, honestly, I have to put myself out there more.
Okay.
Because I know that the call that's on my life, I've just been running from it.
We all do.
Because I don't like being in the forefront. That's just me. Let me stay back here. But I know that there's more purpose in me than just staying back here and pushing everybody else. So I know that it's time for me to say yes more and be available.
What about you, Steph?
In this new life that I'm in, I had to stop having fear.
Okay.
Because I do know my calling, and I minister to a lot of people, and I think God put me in a position to get me out my comfort zone. Like things happen in my life, and I be like, now why am I here talking? Just wondering. But I understand why, because I do know my calling. I know what I have to do. But also, I have been praying for God to remove the fear out of me, because the thought to have to stand in front of people and have to bring the word, it gives me fear. But when I speak, and I think He put me in a position, even at work now, that I have to speak, and I give a Bible verse and do a devotional every day to my children and staff. And I think He's just positioning me to get me out of the fear. And when people is coming in the mornings and seeing what I'm doing, I do it twice a day now. Went from one time to twice a day, I got to do it now. So I think He's positioning me for where He wants me to be, because I have been praying about the fear that I have, because I know it has to come.
Right.
Because He said that's what I am, and I accept who I am and what I have to do. So it's more of, in this new life, I have to just really stop being scared and tap into it more. I just need to tap into it more and position myself and get ready. Like I'm starting to position myself and have myself to be getting ready for what God about to do, because as Bishop, Bishop gave me a couple of prophetic word that I know it shall come to pass.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just so much that God has said. It's so overwhelming, all the things that He said. And I'm like, God, oh my God, first you said I'm gonna do this, now you talk about I'm this, and then I gotta do this. That's a lot. Why me? So I still be asking God, you really want me to do all that? I'm gonna be all of that? This is what you're gonna do? But He promised me this. So, and hearing you say to Carol, like back when Bishop said this,
Right.
you are here now. And I know what Bishop said to me,
Right.
and a couple of things he said to me that I know is going to come to pass, but I see it happening. I see it, and I'm just asking God, Lord, I don't want to be scared. I know it's coming.
Right.
And, I know it's coming. Like, so I try to stay in prayer because I just want to say the right things to people, let it be of God and just not me, doing it. Like I said, I know He positioned me at work for me to be able to start by doing a devotional with the children and ministering to the children and staff and continuing because I'm going to have to. I already know, God already told me I'm going to be speaking to a lot of people. I already know that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a lot of people that's going to hear my voice. But, and the Lord let me know, and I have people come up to me and be like, you know what, Stephanie, Miss Stephanie, when you speak, your voice carries. People listen. When you open your mouth, everything stops.
Right.
And I'd be like, really? They'd be like, you don't know. They said, you don't know that voice you have. They said, your voice is so powerful. They said, I don't know what it is. And I tell them, I said, this voice is for God. I have to use it for God. And that's why He gave me the tone and the voice I had to share His word. And I said, and eventually it's going to come. So, yeah, that's my new life.
It's already there, girl. What you talking about? No, for real.
Yeah.
It's already there.
Yeah,
It's in there.
And a lot of people are hearing you right now. You know what I'm saying? Your Facebook Live is on the World Wide Web. So you have no idea how many people will hear you from this point on just based on this particular session right here. So, yeah, people think that, this is mediocre and that this is, small time or whatever, but you don't realize how many people, what snippet is going to get put out there. Bishop Jakes had a 7-minute clip that launched him for the rest of his life. And so you just have no idea. So while you people are listening, and Carl is going to answer the question, but put in the chat some of the things that you're going to change from this point on and the direction that you're going in so we can read them and pray over them later. So, Carl, I'm going to let you.
Well, I want to say her bestie said she agrees. It's in there. It's in there. And I don't know. I'm just so overwhelmed because I think about what Bishop said last week, and I've heard this many times, but it just resounded last week. You are the church.
Right.
There may never be a time that you stand up here in a pulpit and speak to thousands of people because you're preaching to the people. You're telling the truth. You're telling the good news where you are.
Right.
And I think about Steve Harvey. You see how many people he touched as being a talk show host?
Yeah.
He wouldn't have done that probably in a 700-member church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So your gift is perfect for where you are.
Right.
And it's in there. You're already using it. Gosh, it's amazing. But what would I change? I don't know. I really don't know what I would change. I want to be available. I want to be available. I know I have purpose. I know that there are people in this world assigned to me. I know that my testimony, every trial, everything that I'm going through now that I already have the victory for in the future is going to be to help somebody else. I already know that. So I want to be in the most available. And sometimes I'm not available because I don't want to be available. And I know that sounds bad. What does that mean? Because there's so many hats I wear.
Right.
Being a mother, being the lunch lady, and the principal, and the wife, and the maid, and the cook, and I can keep going on, and the business owner. When you start putting on all those hats, I'm just like, do I really want to sit down and, do something else? You know what I mean?
Right.
Add another hat. But when I think about the souls that are attached to me, it gives me so much joy and passion. So if I could change anything, I I want to make myself available, so much so that God will open up the opportunities and the doors. Does that mean Carol getting off her job and doing something, freeing up time for what I need to do? Or does that mean stay on my job and be able to witness to people? You know what I mean? Right. So whatever available means, I think that's what I wouldn't necessarily, I guess, yeah, it would be a change.
That's going to be your future.
That's my future. But I'm telling you, when I think about Dawn, I just been thinking about, she's saying you said you don't necessarily, you're great, right? You know it, right?
I'm starting to get there.
No, you are. I think people get it twisted. They don't realize it takes so many different types of people to make this world, right? So no matter what your gift is, it's important.
It is.
Don't you know I would not want to go to McDonald's if it wasn't clean? Somebody got to clean it. I am so appreciative of the person that cleans it.
And I tell people.
Right. And I tell them, I be like, thank you. When I go to the mall and it's clean.
In the mall, exactly.
Or that person every role is so important. Don't you understand how important your role is? And when you start realizing the greatness that he put in you, that gift for who you are assigned to people. Your greatness is assigned to people.
Yeah.
No matter how small, you can look at somebody else's and admire them, but don't compare yourself to where you say, well, she's better than me. No.
Right.
God put purpose in every single one of us. And it's so great that, he gave it to you for a reason.
Right. Yeah.
And so for that reason, I just want you to be encouraged tonight. And I pray that God will just reveal your greatness to you so much so that you will put yourself first. In a way that, I'm not saying before your husband or whatever, but I'm saying put your gift and say, God, I thank you for my gift. And thank you for my greatness, because you are. And I love that you said you recognize yours. And you are, it's in there already. The greatness
I agree.
is already in there.
Camille said, moving forward, I will pray more and study more. # preparation.
Yes.
Beverly said, I am going to walk in the level of confidence that God has given me.
Yes.
Speak everyone about who they are and whose they are. I want to be the solution. Yes. And then Nikki Bradshaw said, the momentum and boldness to empower women global in every arena God places me.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you all commented. I'm glad that you all have become a part of this session. And I just want to thank you, Dawn, for what you've done for me in my life and my family life. You are great, and you are great in your servitude. Yes. And I just want to tell you, I thank you personally for sticking with me, for working with me, and not shutting me down even when I've made you mad. And I know I have. I have. So I just want to thank you for putting up with me for these last 15 years. And so it's been a blessing, and it's going to continue to be a blessing. And we will change the world together. Yes. And we will continue to empower each other into our greatness. And for you, Stephanie, I thank you for being the woman of God that you are. I thank you for having the boldness in other areas. But I know that the fear that is not of God. And so I know that God is preparing you. He's preparing you at your job. And I think that's wonderful, because everybody don't have a platform. But when God needs to use you somewhere, he always starts a development process. Yes. And so you are in your development process. And listen, not only are you developing, that you got 4 people you have to holler at home. So that's going to help your voice get stronger. But you are a great woman of God. I saw it from the first time you came. And I am ecstatic that you work with me. I love you. I love both of you. And I thank you so much for putting up with me and even taking you away from your family sometimes. You don't mind piling up your truck with your family. And wherever we going, you on the road with us. And so, of course, we ain't get it in a year. But God has continued to bless us to still be on the air and still give people the word of God. And so I really appreciate both you ladies working with me and serving with me. Now, Carl is a whole different story. Carl is my daughter-in-law, my niece-in-law, my auntie, what's the babe? Best auntie ever for my kids. She helped raise the grandkids. She's raised her own kids. So Carol is so many things to our life. Her business is so many things in our lives. I love you. I thank you for being the person that you are in our lives. I thank you for being the person that you are just for me. Not for thanking you for Camille, Jamire, and Trish. None of that. Thank you for who you are to me. And I really appreciate how you have groomed and helped my son become the great man of God that he is. And happy belated birthday on yesterday, Quinn. So I just want to say thank you to all of you. Thank you for everybody who viewed tonight. Please continue to like, share. Please put your comments in the post and in the chat. We have really enjoyed being with you. Not tonight. Find your Naomi. If you are Ruth, find your Naomi. And if you are Naomi, find your Ruth. Because
I'm sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, I want to say thank you for being our Naomi.
Yes.
Because you let us be, you don't need the help. They already said it.
No.
But you let us. And the blessing is helping you. And the blessing is allowing us to help you. It's a blessing in helping you.
And it's true because it had helped me to stay grounded in the Lord by watching her. You know, because due to the fact the Lord called me to serve, you know, to be her armor bearer, you know, it's a certain way, it keeps me in prayer because I have to make sure First Lady is okay because you have people not trying to be funny, trying to get her, be after her, praying against her, doing other stuff, so it keeps us in prayer to make sure that we on the same page as her, you know?
Yes.
So it keeps me more grounded to be in prayer, to pray for my leaders and making sure things. So like being a Ruth is good because it helped me spiritually and to watch her be the woman of God. Keep us in, you know, intact because, you know, sometimes when you want to say something, you go, because you know, you gotta pump it back a little bit and it brings you like, just pray, Stephanie, you know?
Yeah.
So it do help, you know, and y'all know I'm always, the first one to know, I watch everything.
Yes.
Anybody that know me that's watching, I'm very observant. I sit back and like, she quiet, you think I'm quiet. I'm not quiet, I'm just watching. I
That's
speak
right.
when I need to speak.
you do.
You know?
And she'll tell me in office, she'll say, First Lady, this, and I was like, oh, Rick, she's like, yeah, I peeped that today. so yeah, she's on her job. So I really appreciate all of you ladies. You all are the bomb to me. And there are several more ladies I could have had on here. I can't even just act like I could. I mean, I got at least 10 to 15 ladies that's in the KCC congregation that could be on this pulpit that are not my armor bearers, but I have faith in who they are, and I know that I'm their Naomi to their lives. And so tonight, if you can, please be a blessing to the Bible study. If you can sow a double-fold blessing, a double-fold grace, and sow $10, our giving ways are on the screen. We have Cash App, we have Text to Give, and we have the U.S. Postal Service. So however you, and I just want to send a shout out. She does not get on Facebook and watch us, but let me just tell you, y'all who remember Mother Geraldine, she came for a while and then her son had her to move back to New York. Mother Geraldine sends an offering to this church every month to the P.O. Box. They have opened up an office, a restaurant in New York, her and her son. And so she is not able to come back right now because they're trying to get the restaurant up and off the ground. And so, but she is true to what the Lord has called her to do. She said, First Lady, I'm not joining no other church. I'm in New York, but you are still my church, and that's still my bishop. And so she sends her seed every month to the P.O. Box. And I just want to give a shout out to her because a lot of you all know, and she loves Elder Joyce Jones. She said, I haven't talked to Joyce yet, but I'm going to talk to her. So I just want to say, Mother Geraldine, I know you might not see this, but whomever you talk to from North Carolina, I hope they We talk to you once a month because you want to make sure we got to see you. But I just want to tell you we love you, we thank you, we appreciate you, and we thank and appreciate everyone who sold and send their tithes and offers to this ministry. It is a blessing, and I can't wait for you all to come and get a walkthrough on Easter. We're going to do drive-through church. You're going to be outside, but after service, we're going to let some of you come in. We're going to take your temperature, and we're going to sanitize you, and then we're going to let you walk through and see how the new building looks and how things have changed since you've not been here. So please keep us in prayer. We love you all, and we'll see you next week. Oh, next week, we're going to have the Women Raising Men. We're going to have Pastor Bettina Moffitt. We're going to actually have Dawn back because Dawn is going to talk about raising a man who is actually leaving to go off to college. And so Tyler will be going to college this year. And I have two other ladies who will be joining us. I just want to wait before I announce them, and then you'll see them on the panel next week. One of them prayerfully is going to be Stephanie Council, talking about raising Noah, because we're sending him to the NFL. So I just want to let's keep each other in prayer, keep each other in prayer, keep each other in prayer. Because we're going to realize and we're going to acknowledge the greatness in each other. Amen. All of us as women are going to stop the messiness, right? We're going to stop the pettiness, and we're going to boldly proclaim the greatness that's in each other, and we're going to stick together in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So until next week, I love you all, and we'll see you next week.
To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and God still promised you blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings. Keep on praying, keep on praising, keep on raising good men and women. Keep on serving, keep on preaching. God is speaking through you. To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and God still promised you blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings and blessings. To every good woman, you got a lot of jobs to do. You got a lot of God in you, and you're a good woman.